Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith's partner on First Take, he's pulling a Skip Bayless on Stephen A. Smith. Shannon Sharpe skips Stephen A. Smith. That's kind of the theme for today because we've seen this already with Shannon Sharpe. He undermined Skip Bayless and basically destroyed Skip Bayless's career. And he's about to do the exact same thing to Stephen A. Smith. And I don't say this as a criticism of Shannon Sharpe. I really don't. I'm about to criticize Stephen A. Smith, but I'm really not saying this as a criticism of Shannon Sharpe. I'm just evaluating and telling you what happened with Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless and how it's about to repeat itself with Stephen A. Smith. The exact same thing. I wanted to be clear here. I'm not criticizing Shannon Sharpe. I will be criticizing Stephen A. Smith, but not Shannon Sharpe. I'm just explaining to you. So Shannon, when he was at Fox Sports, wanted more control of the show, Undisputed, with he and Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless controlled the show. Shannon didn't like that. Shannon had virtually no say-so. He worked just as hard, if not harder, at the show than Skip Bayless. And over time, Shannon being a Hall of Fame football player, Shannon being an elite athlete, he just couldn't deal with the fact that some fraudulent old white guy was making far more money than him and had total control of that show. And Shannon sitting there saying, Skip Bayless has a shtick that he's doing. This isn't authentic. It's not real. Skip is a bit autistic and weird. I'm the actual star of this show. I'm carrying this show. I should have more say-so, and I should damn sure be making more money. Couldn't get it. And so over time, he just started taking pot shots at Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless went back at Shannon Sharpe, and you guys saw the tension erupt, and they had the, where Skip Bayless said, you're nothing compared to Tom Brady, and Shannon took his glasses off, and then Shannon basically played the race card on Skip Bayless. And ever since Shannon played the race card on Skip Bayless's ability to attract an audience, his brand was completely damaged. Well, it's happening all over again at ESPN. I think these guys are about a year into their relationship, maybe a year and a month and some change into their relationship. And Shannon Sharpe has discovered, hey, you know what? There's no real difference between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. The only difference is Stephen A. Smith is the laziest person I've ever worked with. That's what Shannon Sharpe is coming to realize. Skip Bayless was a weirdo, but Skip Bayless worked at that show. Skip Bayless put in effort. He didn't know what he was talking about. It was mostly shtick and, just trolling. And Shannon didn't have respect for his football and sports acumen. It's not at Shannon's level. But Skip Bayless worked really hard and was really into the show. That is not the case with Stephen A. Smith. And Shannon's starting to figure that out. And so I want to play you this clip yesterday with this exchange between Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. Smith. And this is a reenactment of what Sharpe did to Skip Bayless. It's on like Donkey Kong over at ESPN. Play the clip.
When it
Stephen
comes
A.,
to
can I ask you a question? Because you're trying to run out the clock. I get you. You made your point. You're trying to run out the clock. Do you like coming to work and having a headache every day you come to work?
Excuse me?
Stephen A., do you like coming to your job every day and having a headache? See, you talking about what you think you know. One voice, one sound. When you trying to win championships, you have one voice, one sound resonating. And you and I both know Bill Belichick is a bigger draw than Jerry Jones. That's why he has coaches that he can overshadow. He couldn't overshadow Jimmy. He couldn't overshadow Bill Parcells. He can't overshadow because those guys won before him.
Your argument goes right out the window when you mention championship and the Cowboys.
Now you know more football. Go ahead. Okay.
Hold on. Come on, Shannon. I never said I know more football than you. Stop that. I've never said that.
Teddy and I are trying to tell you, we're speaking from firsthand knowledge about guys with this type of personality. I get it. You love Jerry. There's a lot to love about it. But Teddy, can you please explain to this man, when you're trying to win championships, you need one voice talking for everybody. Not Jerry talking, not Bill talking, and then the coach, because then know this. Jerry is going to take care of the players because he's going to overshadow Bill's authority.
First Cup Coffee, Christian-owned Patriot Coffee Company that stands for core values, family, and building community across the nation. Go to firstcup.com, use the promo code JASON, and save an additional 10% on your order. And if you subscribe, save another 10% for the life of your subscription. Shannon Sharpe on Stephen A. Smith's show just told the entire audience that Stephen A. Smith knows nothing about football. And Shannon Sharpe is the final authority on football on Stephen A. Smith's show. He just emasculated Stephen A. Smith on his own show, and Stephen A. Smith took it. I've never said that, Shannon. I know you know more football than I do. If this were a prison scene, Shannon Sharpe just told Stephen A. Smith, grab my belt loop and walk around, don't lose track of me. You're my prison. That's what he just did on Stephen A. Smith's own show. Some of you, this is disloyal. Stephen A. Smith has given Shannon Sharpe an opportunity. Fox let him go. Stephen A. gives him the opportunity. You all know nothing about Stephen A. Smith, how he operates, how fraudulent he is, how lazy he is. Shannon Sharpe now knows firsthand. He's living it every day. And it just eats at his brain. He's sitting there going, oh, they're going to pay Stephen A. Smith $20 million a year or 18 or whatever it is. They don't really need him now for NBA coverage because Inside the NBA will be appearing on ESPN. He's not any good really on this show. He's no different than Skip Bayless. He's just a shtick. He's just a gimmick. He's propped up. He's fraudulent. Shannon Sharpe has listened to every single word that I've exposed and said about Stephen A. Smith. Every athlete has heard about it, has watched it, has seen the receipts on the fraudulence of Stephen A. Smith. Shannon Sharpe watched the video of Stephen A. Smith and the shooting coach and laughed just like I did on this show. Shannon Sharpe knows this guy has lied about his college basketball career and much of his background. Shannon Sharpe knows he's been installed by Bob Iger and Disney, and he's a clown that knows nothing about the actual sports he's talking about, including basketball. He sat across from Stephen A. and he knows Stephen A's not even watching these games. He's not even a sports fan in reality. Shannon Sharpe has sat there and watched Stephen A. not even know who's on the New York Knicks roster. Stephen A's alleged favorite team. Stephen A. doesn't even know who's on their roster. He's watched Stephen A. say factually incorrect, common sense things about football. Stephen A. doesn't watch sports. He doesn't know sports. He doesn't talk intelligently about sports. And here's the truth about Shannon Sharpe. And Shannon doesn't like me most of the time or all the time, who knows. But I will speak factually on Shannon Sharpe. As a broadcaster, his football career speaks for itself. He's in the NFL Hall of Fame. He won 3 Super Bowls. All of that deserved. What he's done in broadcasting is more impressive than what he's done on the football field. Shannon Sharpe was, and I say this politely and without any animus or malice, Shannon Sharpe was an idiot coming out of high school. He couldn't get in academically to any school. Savannah State, an HBCU down in the South, let Shannon Sharpe come on campus because he's a freak athlete. Shannon Sharpe, bona fide idiot coming out of high school. This man has put in incredible work, overcome a lisp, overcome a lack of book smarts. He's made himself smart. He's put in, I've seen transformations like this before. I used to tell a story, and I've written about, there was a guy that played basketball at Ball State when I was playing football there, and I've written about him in the past. I've talked about his name was Keith Stalling. He came to Ball State on a Prop 48. But this is back when Prop 48, you had to sit out because his SAT score was low, his GPA was so low. I'm telling Keith, I'm just telling you, Keith was academically challenged. He and another guy got an exchange about how to spell cat, and I believe it was Keith that spelled cat with a K. I watched Keith Stalling over the course of 4 or 5 years at Ball State and over the course of his lifetime. This man has a doctorate degree. He's one of the smartest people one of the smartest, most educated people I went to college with. I watched this man transform himself. He came from a Chicago ghetto, and he transformed himself through hard work and effort. It's one of the most incredible. This is how I know God is real and miracles actually happen and what you can do if you put the work in. This is what Shannon Sharpe has done. This guy takes broadcasting and his post-playing career incredibly seriously. He watches film of himself. He watches film of other broadcasters. He watches the games. He's a true, passionate sports fan. He takes this whole endeavor very, very seriously, and he is offended. He can't help but be offended by what he's witnessing and has witnessed from Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has been installed. He hasn't earned one bit of this. This has all been given to him. People have overlooked his fraudulent, lying background. People have overlooked the fact when he was at the Philadelphia Inquirer, the editors had to rewrite all of his work. People have had to overlook, compared to Mike Wilbon and count everybody else, what he knows about the NBA, the NFL, and these sports doesn't even remotely compare. But because he's willing to play the buffoon, and Bob Iger and Disney love black buffoons, Stephen A. Smith has been promoted and installed and placed at the top of ESPN. And trust me, right now, it's driving Shannon Sharpe crazy. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.